I can't keep my face in that beaver for very long, man. It's kind of smelly and moist. Moist would be the way to put it. How are you doing, Backwood? How y'all doing?
What
Welcome
the?
to the Radioactive Podcast. We're having a moment here. You can support us. You can find us outside of YouTube. All those links are down below. What's going on, y'all?
God dang. What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing out there, man? I I got nothing on that one, man.
It's been a while, has it?
You see Hutch
We're gonna
over
get
there?
Yeah, we're gonna get in trouble this morning. I can promise you.
Man,
Between
fuck Hutch.
this and then Hutch being here. So we're gonna start out real quick. We were talking about this backstage. You watched Vivek last night, and you watched the Trump town hall. I was able to catch some of the Trump town hall. I didn't watch Vivek. What are your thoughts on that, man?
Man, look, I like what Vivek has to say. He's saying all the right things. There's still a trust issue with it. With the pharma and stuff he was working with, and just some of the other things. You know, but you can also turn around and say, well, Trump pushed the whiskey shot, things like that. So I don't know. My personal opinion. I mean, Trump last night showed real leadership. I really liked how he actually went on there, and when there was a woman that asked him about abortion, and she was kind of trying to push him towards no abortion, period, and he was like, I've got to stand strong on this. We're going to have to find some type of common ground, to me, that's a real leader, is someone that'll look a voter in the face and tell them the truth of how they feel. He didn't just bullshit them. He told her the truth. And what's up, Macabus? So the whole thing is that Trump is my pick. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I think if Trump and Vivek was to run Vivek as the vice president, I think that would be a ticket that is unbeatable. I think that would give us a chance to see Vivek better, and see if he's actually going to hold up to his word, things like that. Because, the president can always override the vice president. So, we've got Trump there to hold that position. And, I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
Get interesting.
Well,
get interesting, man.
Yeah, if Vivek was the vice president, like I said, I think that would be a winning ticket, and we could see, and then Vivek could run, 4 years from now, and we would know the guy. We would know. I think he would get more. I think he would get real attention. You know what I'm saying? Like a strong voter base. But that is what it is.
Yeah, I like the fact that during Trump's town hall, he called himself a federalist. They were asking him, would you enforce mandates again? And he said, I didn't enforce them the first time.
Right.
I'm a federalist. I left it up to the governors, and whatever they did, they did. So I can appreciate that. But this is episode 2 of the Radioactive Podcast, and it is titled Boomsticks and Boogeymen. And Backwoods is bringing some receipts this morning when it comes to boomsticks. He might not have them on him. I don't know. He might have smoked them or something. But
I always got boomsticks.
We're going to talk about the Second Amendment. We're probably already flagged for saying the phrase Second Amendment, but we don't care over here, son. A complete breakdown of the Second Amendment, as Backwoods wants to give him your spin of the Second Amendment. It's pretty cut and dry, right?
Yeah, I mean, we know, it's a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. When you really break down, you can The cool thing about it is that there's three distinct statements there. A well-regulated militia. You've got being necessary to the security of a free state. You've got the right of the people to keep and bear arms. And then, the fourth statement states simply shall not be infringed. And so they're saying basically the whole thing. A well-regulated militia, it shall not be infringed. It's necessary to the security of a free state. The bearing arms, the militia. This is all necessary. It's all about your rights to have armaments. You can, because you can mix it around however you want to read the Second Amendment. You've got well regulated. A lot of people try to tell you, a lot of the people that want to take your guns tell you, well, that means regulations, that we're supposed to regulate the gun. No, that is not what it means. It meant that you were well trained, you were well armed, you knew you were proficient with your armaments. Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty plain and simple. Shall not be infringed. Plain and simple.
And it's not like they wrote this down on a hotel napkin or something. They were very specific about how they worded this amendment because they wanted people to realize, I think they knew eventually tyrants are coming for the guns. They didn't know if it's going to be 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, whenever. But they knew at some point they're going to come for the guns because when they set this experiment up, the Great American Experiment, they looked at past failed experiments. And that was one of the common traits was they always disarm the populations. And so this is in there very specifically. And people take it for granted, I think, sometimes.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you got to understand that the government and the lawmakers, they like to tell you these different things, with this regulated militia, it gives them the power to regulate. They like to tell you that we don't need militias anymore because we got the National Guard. You got to understand when somebody is trying to convince you that you have no rights to the guns, they don't have good intentions for you.
No, never.
Not
long term anyway.
We can go throughout the history of all the communist bastards that have killed millions and millions of people, and the very first thing they did was disarm the people.
You want to talk about wealth transfer? You go and you look at the early Soviet Union when everybody was disarmed, and you look at the thousands and thousands of farmers who got relocated into outer space because they just disappeared and the land was taken over. This is the kind of stuff that happens when a nation's not armed. If y'all don't mind real quick, shoot a thumbs up, y'all bunch of lurkers. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Bringing us to our second point this morning, militias. If you don't mind going to militias a little bit, I think they're very necessary for a free state to remain free. But they want to get rid of them, don't they, backwoods?
Yeah, you got to understand that the forefathers understood, when they started writing down these amendments and ratifying them, you got to understand that they had not long ago just kicked a tyrannical king and his minions out of this country. They kicked their ass and said, go away, y'all, this tyrannicalness. So anytime anybody talks to you about like a militia, for instance, the forefathers understood this is why that my personal opinion, this is why that is in the very first part of the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia, because the people, there are many writings when you go and you look at Federalist, anti-Federalist papers, when you go and look at all these different writings, let's say of the forefathers, there were a whole lot of them, man, that said things like, talked about, I've got some of the quotes down actually. A free people ought not only be armed, but disciplined. That's a well-regulated militia. That was George Washington, by the way, in the first annual address to both the houses of Congress on January 8th of 1790. And you got to understand that the Second Amendment was ratified, so it was put in there for and December the 15th in 1791 is when it became part of our Constitution. And the militia is very important because it's we the people. It is we the people that are the militia. And we the people are the ones who are supposed to be putting these people into authoritative positions and then taking that authority away. You see what I'm saying? So
the thing that bothers me with American 2024 is people look at 1776 and they look at the original militias, because honestly, that's what it was. It was a militia fighting against England until it got organized. But they think because that war was won, that's just a free pass forever for freedom here in the United States. And I think personally that the militias of the day back then understood eventually they're going to have to do it again.
right.
You're going to have to renew this lease on freedom every so often.
Yes.
Thank you, Milton.
Yeah, you got to understand, man. They understood that if you didn't have a people that were together, that were ready and able, with being, in a militia, if you weren't ready and able, I mean, this is proficient, not only proficient with your firearms, but also that your firearms are well maintained as also. There's a lot of this stuff, man, that matters when in this context, exactly. Give me liberty or give me death. So, I mean, militias are important, man. When you're looking, if you want to figure out where you can go and find you a militia, I don't really. Man, it's so hard to know how to tell you per state, and per area. Different people have different ways of letting it be known that they are, they have a militia over here. And a lot of them are quiet because the government demonizes them so badly. So it's really hard for me to just say, hey, this is what you got to do to get a militia, unless you want to start one on your own. But I do have advice when it comes to, if you find a militia, some key things you got to understand is there's probably going to be a Fed boy there somewhere. I mean, you just understand that right off the bat, but don't let that scare you. Fuck a Fed, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're not doing it,
man.
Well, I'm just saying, man, if you're not breaking the law by being
here he goes, y'all. He's off.
Well,
He's
I'm
off
just saying, you're not.
Go ahead, man.
You're not breaking the law by being in a militia. It is in our Constitution. It is the Second freaking Amendment for a reason. Right. It is the teeth to back up the First Amendment that you got a right to speak about what you don't like what the government is doing. So you got to understand there's probably going to be a Fed boy around somewhere. But the key thing you got to understand, when someone starts talking about like explosives, anything like that, that is a red flag. I'm out. Done. Any kind of racism crap, out. Done. Because because that's how they get these militias, is because they start doing stuff that they're not supposed to be doing. Come on, man. Dude, it's a federal crime to be fucking with explosives, dude. You know what I'm saying? Dude, that's a bad deal. Anybody that does them kind of things, man, them are the two main major key points to, if you do find a militia, is to find out if there's racism there or if they're fucking with explosives. If they're doing either one of them things, boom. Get away from there.
The way I look at it, man, is when the government doesn't want you talking about something, or the government doesn't want you to have something, I want to have it, and I want to talk about it. I want to find out why they don't. Why? Getting back to militias for a second, they're trying to paint them in a bad light, and like you said, when you start messing around with the wrong stuff that is illegal, that just helps the government out. That helps them paint militias in a bad way.
Right.
But there's nothing illegal about having a militia, right?
Right.
And you could even look at the Second Amendment and say, you know, the militia, the well-regulated militia, it's encouraging militias, I think, as long as they're well regulated and it's not an unlawful thing. And so many people either don't like militias and they think that they're too extreme now because that's what they've been told on TV, or they just don't know about them one way or the other.
Right. Well,
Because the government doesn't want them to even be thinking about something like that.
well, James Madison, when when the Second Amendment was ratified, James Madison, it was proposed by James Madison to allow the creation of civilian forces that can counteract a tyrannical federal government. Plain and simple. And it was really funny because I was watching old Shitty Pants Nadler up there, and that New York Mr. Shitty Pants. He said, man, he said, so what? He was talking to another one of the Congress people, and I can't remember exactly which one it was. I can picture the guy, but he said, so you're suggesting that the Second Amendment gives them right to overthrow the government? And he said, you damn right. That's exactly what I'm saying. He said, because that's what it does. And they said, he goes, well, I just can't believe that. Well, of course you can't believe it because you're a tyrannical shitty pants. That's why. That's why.
Tyrants don't want to be overthrown.
Yeah. So of course it. Yeah. Chip Roy from Texas. That's right. It was Chip Roy. And so, that's the whole thing, man, is that's the whole point of the Second Amendment is to be able to water the tree of liberty from time to time with the blood of tyrants and patriots, man. It's just the way it is. That's the way it was set up, because you got to understand, again, the context of when the Second Amendment was wrote was because they had just kicked a tyrannical government out.
Well, I'm going to try and de-escalate you a little bit because you know how your wife gets about it. She don't want you to get upset, but you're probably going to get upset on this one too. We do this every week, folks. Backwoods, kick out real quick an overrated prep and let me know why.
Anything Alaskan Prepper says.
No, come on, man. We can't do this again. I got so many comments last week. Come on, man. An actual prep.
Cryptocurrency.
Explain why you think it's overrated, if you don't mind.
Because it's digital. It's digital.
You can't hold it in your hand. Is that
you
what
can't
you're
hold
saying?
Dude.
Come on, I'll walk you through
this.
it.
This is a real prep. You see what I'm saying? This is a real prep. I've got this in my hand. This right here can help me. Cryptocurrency does nothing for you. They can shut it off just like that. It is an overrated prep. Don't let anyone tell you to go and put your money into anything digital. It's just like gold. I know there are places out there that you buy into the gold, but they hold it. Man, think, people. Anything that is not in your hand is an overrated prep, period.
Digital money is the future. Have they not already told you this?
Of course it is.
Has this not been instilled upon you?
I mean,
you can't even go into a government building now and pay with cash without getting chastised and told you can do this online via digital currency.
Well, dude, there's no other way to explain it except for they can push a button and shut it off. You're done. They don't like what you say on social media.
You will comply. You will comply.
Course.
They're going to force you to comply.
Well, if you got yeah, they'll force you to
That is-
comply. They'll force you to comply if they've got all your damn money at a fingertip where they can just push it and shut it
Yeah.
off. You know, can you imagine waking up in the morning and going to the store and you know, you'd been on a live stream or you'd posted something on a social media platform last night, you know, you were pissed off about something, and then you go up there to the grocery store and well, you know, you got cryptocurrency or you got, you know, whatever it is, and you go and you slide that fucking card right there into the machine, you know, because it, you know, after you get through checking your own groceries out, because they're all doing away with people at the damn cash register, then you go in there and what happens? uh, you have been shut down for 24 hours for violating, you know, for being a bad boy. You know, basically, you know, what we're going to do is just kind of, you know, we're going to hold the money from you for 24 hours. Bam, done. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You going to run around and say, I'm going to kick somebody's ass? Government's going to be like, oh, really? Okay, well,
I
here,
agree with
now
you,
you
but
get
look,
48 hours.
Let's be honest. In your case, you're not buying groceries. You're buying the ingredients for those magical cigars that you talk about wrapping behind backstage. The
Man, maybe.
magic cigars, the
Well,
carpet ride ones you said.
maybe they don't. Maybe they think you're smoking too much, and they
Yeah,
just decide, you know, no, we're not going to let you buy that today. Maybe they think you're drinking too many sodas, Nuka
you
Colas, man.
just
No, you can't have
yeah, I
that.
know it, man.
You
Hey,
can't have that.
sliding it through, you slide your card through, and you just get a picture of Greta Thunberg going, no, not today. Maybe you get cigars tomorrow, but not today. Your carbon footprint's too big, right?
Exactly.
Underrated preps, folks. I wrote down sunscreen and bug spray. Mine are never as interesting as backwoods. I don't have stories to go along with them or anything like that, but I can tell you, especially during the summer months, bugs and mosquitoes in this area are so bad that a 300-pound man, you are done camping, you look like a long distance runner from Kenya, like you are 100 pounds soaking wet. They done ate the rest off of you. But seriously, sunscreen, bug spray, and somebody said foot powder. Norel, that's a good one as well.
Candy.
Um, huh, candy.
Candy is a very underrated prep. Hard candy, dude.
Okay.
Can you imagine going, you know, all this time, you know, grid down, things are shitty. Just having a night, you know, some good candy, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just something for that moment, you know, that you're just like, damn, this is good. You know, it's like fuck. You know, things are terrible, man. You know,
Let the mosquitoes eat you alive, but you're sucking on that Werther's original. It's all good. Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Sunburn up, look like a corpse. You've been sunburned
Well,
so bad, but
you gotta
you got
understand, man.
starlight mint.
Well, you got to understand, I'm a fisherman and I'm a hunter, man. Bug spray, I do not lack. You know what I'm saying? Dude, that stuff, I got it in my car, my truck. There's 2 or 3 cans of it in my truck. I'll tell you what, I got one for you. I got an
All right,
underrated prep for you right here.
all right, roll it out, baby.
Any of that scent killer. Scent killer, you can get it in the hunting section at Walmart. Scent killer is awesome, dude, because I'm gonna tell you, you may just be, um, you may only have a limited amount of soap for cleaning. You know what I'm saying? Scent killer, man, you can smell a stinky person for a pretty good ways. You know what I mean? And not to mention it's gonna get stinky. You know, scent killer, I think you know, I've got a lot of that. You know, because I do deer hunt and I like to get out, and I like to get out and move around when I hunt. You know, I don't like to just sit in a deer stand. You know, I like to spot and stalk. You know, hunt, and I think scent killer is something good to have too, man. Just because.
Sounds like a great one. Sounds like a very underrated one as
Baby
well.
wipes, yeah, baby wipes, man, baby wipes, yeah.
Maybe
Every,
wipes, yeah, but eventually those are going to run out. You know what I'm saying? Seems like a bottle of scent killer would go a lot longer than 100 baby wipes or something, depending on how much of it you had to use, I guess.
yeah,
So, um, I started this new thing where I'm gonna pull a comment from the podcast, right, from the
Right.
week before, and the comment of the week. Robert Moody, if you're listening, he's in the replay crowd, long time subscriber. He said, "I love you, backwoods." Just saying, and I don't think he meant this in a rainbowish way. I
Who
think he
said
just
that?
likes the content.
Man, my phone is blowing up. I'm sorry.
Robert Moody.
Okay.
And if he did mean it in a rainbow way, again, I don't think he did. Backwoods is married. But if you're just saying you like his content and stuff like that, right on, man.
I I gotta say, and I'm gonna be honest because you ain't gonna get nothing but honesty out of me. I do
Oh, here.
kind of have a problem with men telling me they love me that don't know me.
Mm,
I'm just saying. I appreciate the comment. I appreciate the sentiment. I appreciate, you know what I'm saying. Hey man, dude, you're cool, man. Like the shit out of you. I'm cool with that, but I'm sorry, but you know, I'm very much not a progressive.
I
I'm
think we might have a troll in chat. Hutch made
look,
fun of my beard a little while ago, and now he's calling you a progressive. Help that, Hutch.
and Warlord over there.
So moving right along, still talking about boomsticks and the Second Amendment. What do Americans need to do moving forward? And do you believe they'll actually do anything, or they're just going to fold up like a lawn chair?
Man, okay, so let me just start out like this. I'm not telling anybody to do anything illegal or unlawful and all the nice words we're supposed to say. Yeah, fuck that. Anybody that don't have a weapon right now, I don't give a damn what your governor says. I don't give a damn what your state says. If you ain't got a gun right now, you're in trouble. I'm just telling you, you're in trouble. I'm not a fear monger. I don't like fear mongering at all. I like telling the truth. And I'm telling you right now, if there is a total grid down, if there is, we don't have any type of damn anything at all, electricity and all this stuff, people are going to come for your shit. I'm telling you. You can say what you want to. You can do the feel good prepper if that's what makes you feel good. And when you look at yourself in the mirror at night, but look at your same self in the mirror after shit hits the fan and tell me how feel good you want to be right then. Buy yourself a weapon. Don't. You ain't got to have a $1,500 gun. If all you can afford is a damn
thing, because I don't.
if all you can afford is a high point damn 9mm, go buy it. It's better than nothing. And I'm gonna go on. I told you I was gonna do this, but I'm gonna go on and call you out, Big T. Big T, if you lost your shit in a boating accident, you need to sell everything you got right now because you're not going to use it when the time comes. I hate that shit. I lost mine in a boating accident. I buried my guns. Well, you ain't going to use them then. Man, I ain't lost shit. My shit ain't buried. My shit is here. It's loaded. It's ready to go. And that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the whole part of being a well-regulated militia. My guns are clean, well-oiled, and have many freedom seeds right there beside them. Just saying.
He's not hiding it. He
Big
don't care. He's not hiding from it.
Sorry about it, Big T, but I'm not. That is the problem, man. That we, everybody's scared. Everybody's scared, man.
I don't think. Let me just say this real quick. I don't think he's just singling Big T out. I think this is just the last person that has posted this, but he's seen it probably in a lot of other chats from a lot of different people. It's that attitude of I'm not, I'm just going to make up an excuse and tell the government I don't have anything anymore.
I'm just saying.
And I get where you're coming from. The government should be scared and making excuses for the people, not the other way around is what you're trying to say. They should be scared of the people.
Exactly. When fear the government that fears your guns, period. And anybody that's trying to make you
All right, over there. The magic cigars hitting you, are they?
No, it's just Big T. Fuck off if you can't take a joke. Man, so anyway, all right. Yes.
We just went radioactive, and I have no idea what's going on.
I love it, man. So, here's the whole thing about it is well, you can fuck off too, Big T. How about that? Because I don't even like to joke like that, man. That's the problem is too many people. Oh, well, I lost mine in a boating accident, man. No, fuck that. I didn't lose shit. I'm prepared to fucking fight. I'm ready to die for my fucking freedoms. And if you don't have that attitude, then I'm sorry. Go ahead and sell your shit. Go ahead and go buy you some cryptocurrency. Sign up for the central banking digital currency system. Go sign up for it and buy you a poster and put that sumbitch in the house of Joe Biden and walk by and kiss it every day. I'm just saying. Dude,
cryptocurrency's ears are burning right now.
Dude, do you not understand the time is now? Dude, I'm just telling you. Dude, they cannot let Trump in the White House. They have got to do something drastic. Trump is going to be a bull in a china closet, son. He is going to wreak havoc. I'm telling you. This shit is coming. We've got pedophile lists that are coming out of all these big actors and these politicians. Shit is about to get real in this country. You got gangs coming across the damn border. You got fighting age males coming across this border in hundreds of thousands of people. Hundreds of thousands of people coming across this border. You better wake the fuck up. That's all I'm going to say about that. Wake the fuck up.
I'll just add this. As long as we have this attitude, to your point, where we're scared, where we are scared to exercise the rights that are guaranteed to us, tyrants are going to continue to take rights. They're going to continue to take from us until people finally stand up. And again, I don't know if they will or not, but it needs to happen at some point. Backwoods. Let's pivot over now to Boogeymen. All right. I'm going to tell you a story. Hopefully it calms you down. Maybe smoke you another one or something. Calm down, man. Calm down. I don't want no health emergency on this live stream.
I'm good, bro.
Have you ever seen the movie The Beastmaster, Backwoods?
Have I seen what?
The Beastmaster. Oh, God.
I think I have.
You've never seen The Beastmaster?
Man, Man, do you know how many pots I've smoked since then?
I have no idea.
Well, it's a lot.
All right. So when I was a little kid, I'll admit this. Look here. I used to be scared to death of the villain off The Beastmaster. Dude had a winged helmet, black eyes. I mean, he was just an evil dude, right? But as you get older, you realize, man, that's just fantasy. And it's a classic. You need to watch it, Backwoods. But here's the thing. That's just fantasy. And the Boogeymen segment this week, we were actually talking about it backstage, how most people are kind of living in fantasy right now, talking about how they're going to respond to certain SHTF events. Things like EMPs, nukes, famine.
Mm-hmm.
They're boogeymen because honestly, most people out there have never lived through these things. Yeah. So how do we as preppers deal with these boogeymen?
Well, I really can't say that on air. Black SUVs will pull up if you really want to know my real.
Yeah, let's not do that.
But, man, really, yeah, I feel like I got to make something up, sort of. But no, boat local, man. Start local, man. Get involved with things, man. Call people out, go. I've went to when our senators and our representatives and stuff, come near me or whatever, you know what I'm saying. In a, where I can, I go and I've called them out. I called out a representative, one of our senators who was kind of playing around with the idea of red flag laws, that he might be he might be willing to support that. And I was like, yeah. I called him out. I went right down there where he was at, a big rally going on, and I called him out right there. And I was like, hey, man, what's this about you wanting to support red flag laws? Do y'all not understand what red flag laws do? I can have an ex-girlfriend that don't like me, and she say, hey, man, that guy's crazy over there. And y'all come take all my stuff, and then I've got to fight it out in court. Everybody around's like, what? What do you mean? Oh, heck no, red flag, what? You know what I'm saying? Dude, it wasn't long after that, because, I mean, everybody in the crowd was like, oh, hell no, It wasn't long after that, dude was like, yeah, I've looked into it, and I don't support that, red flag law stuff. Go and call these people out, man. I mean, that's the first recourse. You got to redress a grievance with the government. You can file for Freedom of Information Act FOIA request on things, and put this stuff out there. You know what I'm saying? Put it out there for people to see. I mean, other than really going into how we really need to deal with these tyrants, man. The real way we really need to be dealing with these tyrants, man. This is the way we're going to have to do it, to try to do it legally first, until all avenues are exhausted, and then it's time to water the tree, man, the tree of liberty. Just saying.
I'm not sure. Somebody was asking if we would consider yellow flag laws. I've never even heard of those. I would say, yeah. Is he messing with you? I would say probably not, because it's going to.
I've never heard it. Laws, right? That was probably mayhem messing with me, but I ain't never heard of no yellow flag laws. If there might be. God dang, they're trying everything they can, man. I'm telling you, they're trying everything.
All colors of the rainbow, right?
You got judges and Supreme Court judges, and you got all these people striking stuff down. You can't do that. It's unconstitutional. And they go and reword a couple of things and send it right back through.
Yeah. And it's weird, because when you go and you look at the Second Amendment, it doesn't say anything about red flag laws or the ability for tyrants to step in and say we need red flag laws or anything like this.
No, it says shall not be infringed.
Or carry licenses, which are just taxes. And when you get right down to it, you fill out a paper, you pay a tax to exercise a right that's guaranteed. I don't know. It does make sense to me.
So here, yellow flag laws. What is the difference between yellow and red flag gun laws? Apparently, Boston. Many questions have been raised regarding the gun laws in Maine following the horrific deadly mass shooting that occurred last week. Let's see. Maine has what is known as a yellow flag law, the only one of its kind in the nation. I'm trying to find where it just keeps talking about it's the only one. Okay, well, tell us what the hell it is. So under Massachusetts red flag law, any relative or roommate, yada, yada. Maine's so-called yellow flag law has a few extra steps in the middle. Someone who suspects a gun owner is an imminent threat, whether that be a close relative or a police officer, can report them to the police. Well, that'll work out well. Here, let me report the police to the police. God, that is up to local law enforcement to take that person into protective custody or a mental health evaluation from a medical expert. And if the doctor and police deem it necessary, apply for a court order to get guns temporarily taken away. Then and only then can a court order temporarily suspend a gun license or remove guns. There you go.
It's weird. None of that is in the Second Amendment, though, right?
Not a bit of it.
The Second Amendment's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, it's.
Thank you, Art Nanny. Do you agree with that statement, Backwoods?
If you own it and don't admit it, you aren't willing to go down to keep it. That's exactly what I was saying. I 100%. I agree with that.
Who would support that BS believe it or not, Mike, there are a lot of people out there that would champion it because yeah, these events do happen, all right? But when these events happen, mainstream media, they swoop in, they sensationalize it, they put it on blast everywhere. You cannot get away from this news. And then immediately leftists will start beating that drum. They do it every single time. You know, it's the tool, it's not the person. It's never the person doing anything wrong, unless they happen to fit a certain demographic, and then it's maybe the person, but it's always the
I
tool.
I
Got to
ain't
get
never
rid of the tool.
I've never in my life seen or heard of a car drinking and driving and killing people. Ever.
That's a
Ever.
good analogy, actually,
Never heard of a car ever drinking and driving and killing people.
and no cries to outlaw cars or anything like
Yeah.
that. Anytime it happens,
And by the way, just so everybody knows in there, me and Big T go at each other all the time, but we're still buddies, or at least I think so. And if not, then okay. But
thanks
we
for
go at
clearing
each
that up.
other all the
I didn't know that, man. I
no,
was
it's
getting worried there.
no man, we go at each other. Hell, he goes at me, I go at him. It's all good, man. That's what men do. It's well, real men anyway.
So getting back to the original question here, backwoods. I don't even know how we got off the beaten path, but again, backwoods. We're in the middle of the backwoods right now. Let me give you a pointed example. Let's say we have a huge EMP that affects the United States of America. All right, because that's one of the boogeymen out there. Look,
Right.
raise your hand in chat if you've never lived through an EMP. I've never lived through an EMP. I've had the power go down for a few days or a week or so because of storms, but I'm talking about years on end, an EMP. What does that look like to you, backwoods?
Total chaos. It looks like lock and load time. That's exactly what it looks like, because I'm gonna tell you, there, I've got this saying that I say that people are feel good preppers. There's a lot of feel good preppers out there, and them are the ones that are out there is like, I'm prepping and I'm going to take care of my neighbors, and I'm gonna take care of this and all my family members, and I'm gonna take care. I think that these same people forget that we had neighbors calling in on neighbors, turning them in for $100 so that, because they weren't wearing masks. Did we not see that in mass going on? People telling on people. Do you think that them same neighbors that they may feel like you're not feeding them well enough, so they go and they talk to the other neighbor over here and go, hey man, I don't think we're getting enough food. This dude's got a lot of food, man. If he's able to share it with us, I think we need to go over there and take it. And if you don't think that ain't going to happen, well, keep thinking that. That's all I can tell you. I feel sorry for you. Maybe I'll see you at either heaven's gates or hell gates, wherever we go. I feel I'm going to heaven, but I may be wrong.
We were talking backstage before we went live, and you were talking about, to me, again, it's a boogeyman because an EMP situation, the stuff you just described, you were saying backstage that people are not just going to be able to sit in their house, squat in their house, and not get found. Eventually, somebody's coming for you and your stuff.
Absolutely.
And people think that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? They
Do
think
you
just because they've prepped, they're going to be able to lock the door, and
let me
that's it.
let me break it down like this. Do you realize that someone stabbed someone to death over a chicken sandwich? Over a chicken sandwich. It was some specialty chicken sandwich, and it was the last freaking one. They got into a fight in the line, and someone stabbed to death. Hey, Black Friday. Let's take Black Friday, man. How many times have you seen people throwing down over a $200 savings on a damn TV? And you think that belly
worse, but yeah, I remember the bad times. Yeah, human nature, man.
Yeah, if you don't think that belly kicking that backbone, and they're crying hungry children, and they know you got food over there, you don't think they ain't coming for that, man? You better wake up.
We were talking about putting a so let's say you've prepped, okay, and there's an EMP, total grid down. So of course the food chain stops. Grocery stores are not open anymore. They're not going to have food anyway. People are walking around starving. Your average prepper thinks they're just going to be able to go out, throw a T-bone steak on the grill. No,
Mhm.
not a care in the world. They're going to be able to get away with it. And we were talking about earlier backstage how for miles and miles, people are going to smell that and they're going to come looking for the source of that smell.
Dude, the other day, me and my son, because my son works with me, because we homeschool him, and so we were going down the road, and it's like a pretty good highway. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Yeah.
I smelled eggs and bacon cooking. I was like, damn. I said, you smell that? And he said, yeah, Dad, I smell that. And the houses are a pretty good ways off the highway in this particular place. So I mean, these are big properties where we were going through, and man, you can smell that eggs and bacon like it was sitting right next to you, man. You don't, but seeing that, and that's something I don't think a lot of people think about. They say, hey, man, I got 2 years worth of food. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, what are you gonna do about cooking that food? What do you mean? Man, you can smell that shit for a long ways, and you don't think a hungry belly can't smell some food, brother? Yeah, boy, better wake up, folks. I'm telling you, y'all better wake up.
Another thing worth mentioning, man, on this, I think, is a lot of people maybe not as gray as they think they are. They may have had a family member or a friend or a service worker or something come in and out of the home,
Mhm.
and this person can't keep their mouth shut. Maybe they've seen something that would indicate that this person's a prepper. They've probably already told 5 or 10 other people, and so people are going to know that you have stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know that there's anybody out there, anybody in chat that is prepping where someone else doesn't know. There might be a few, but not many. Most preppers are going to have people showing up at the front door
You know, you
in
know
their
what
home.
really, you know what really gets me is people go, I paid cash for mine, or and I'm like, well, where did you get it at? Well, at such and such place. So they have cameras. Yeah. Did you scan them items? Yeah. Man, because everything has a barcode on it, man. You got to understand they've been collecting data on us for years and years and years and years and years. They have been collecting data. And if you don't think that they can't correlate the timestamp, because there's a timestamp on your receipt, just look at it. There's a timestamp. And then the other one is when people say, oh, I get mine online, man, and have it delivered. It comes in brown packages. Yeah, well, it's also got a name on that package. You know what I'm saying?
There's a
And
paper trail somewhere.
there's a paper trail, and not to mention the fact that who delivered that package to you. That we've seen this already. While there's not shit hits the fan, there's been, like I said, you can still at 1 o'clock in the morning go to a convenience store and buy a gallon of milk. But yet we have seen like these UPS, Amazon drivers, yada yada. They turn rogue and break into people's houses. Because they know what they're delivering to them. So you got to
Let's speak
understand.
on that for a second, Backwoods, because we
All
were
right.
talking about that as well. People will do bad things during a severe SHTF, even if they're good people. A lot of people are disillusioned. They say, I'll never do this. I'll never do this. People will do bad things. Law enforcement officers will do bad things. UPS and FedEx, those drivers can go rogue. People are going to prey on other people during SHTF. Not enough people know that. That's what you want to speak on.
Absolutely 100%. Knowledge is something that nobody can ever take away from you. Period. Except for when you wake up dead, then you don't have no more knowledge.
Oh boy. Um, I don't know, man. This is a good topic. We got like 10 minutes left. I want to jump in chat in a second, but we may do this topic next week if you don't mind.
No
We may
matter.
talk about the tracking and how deep it goes. because I don't think people realize how deep the digital tracking and the paper trails go. And maybe we'll talk about how much how much stuff people will be willing to do and how many lines they will cross when their kids are starving. This
Right.
sort of thing.
Well, and
If it's cool with you.
yeah, I'm cool with that, man. You know, so going back to kind of the Second Amendment, the guns and so forth, you know, Thomas Jefferson gave a little drafted draft number ones in 1776. Thomas Jefferson in the Virginia Constitution, no free man shall ever be debarred the use of arms. Here's one that says, what country can preserve its liberties if their rulers are not worried from time to time that their people preserve the spirit of resistance? Let them take up arms. Thomas Jefferson, December 20th, 1787. The laws, here's the best one. This is the most important one. The laws that forbid carrying of arms are such a nature, they disarm only those who are neither inclined nor determined to commit crimes. Such laws make things worse for the assaulted and better for the assailants. They serve rather to encourage than to prevent homicides. For an unarmed man may be attacked with greater confidence than an armed man. The forefathers understood these things and were very clear on the Second Amendment. Any law out there right now that keeps you from bearing arms, you got to understand, the right to bear arms. That's just like if Prepper Nation over there decided to turn all Hulk and rip his shirt off and bared his chest.
I got kids. I ain't got time for all that.
Bared his chest. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
Yeah.
You're showing. You're bearing it. You're carrying it. It's on you. That's the forefathers were very clear about this, man. All there is to it. All there is to
it. Here's what concerns me and kind of baffles me, to be honest with you. And I know you've seen this. People in chat have seen it, but certain states now, man, they got ridiculous gun laws in place. And the people of these states have allowed it to happen, right?
Right.
So then these states turn into dumps. I mean, let's just go ahead and say it, dumps. It doesn't mean all of California is bad, but in many spots, just using California as an example, dumps compared to what they used to be. Then people flee California, because they don't like the outcome. They'll flee to Texas or Florida, but they bring that liberal mindset with them, and it's like they're spreading the dump heap as they do this.
Right.
I don't have a problem with people getting out of liberal cities and moving to the country somewhere where it's conservative, but leave that stuff in the state that you're fleeing from. There's a reason that you're leaving California, because that mentality didn't work. You know what I mean?
I agree 100%, man. There's a lot of people that are too stupid to understand that, man. There's a lot of people, and here's one of the real good kickers, and I'm gonna present a screen here in a second if you don't mind to share it.
Yeah.
So real quick before you share this screen, I want to make sure everyone
share it now.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm messing with you, man.
So you got to understand, there are people out there that will say, well, you don't really need the assault weapon. You don't need the AR-15. The forefathers never envisioned that we would have AR-15s like we do now. Well, that's BS. And I'm now you can present the screen. I'm gonna show you why. Now, for those of y'all out in chat, when was the Second Amendment ratified? When did it become our part of our Constitution? What year? Let's see. Let's see how quick someone is.
My finger on the chat here, man.
Man, not quick enough, guys. Nope. Nope.
Not.
Nope. 1791. There you go. 3% prepper. That 3% prepper got it. So here's the thing. This puckle gun right here, a unique flintlock machine gun, was constructed over 70 years prior to the Second Amendment. This was in 1718. Let's go down. Look at this gun. 1779. Look at this gun. Multi-shot weapon. Look at these. Look
So
at this.
they knew this was coming.
They were experimenting before the Second Amendment was ever even wrote, before it was even thought of. They were already playing with multi-shot guns. Multiple shots, man. I mean, you know, these are guns. Look at this one right here. The chamber swivel gun, an early American flintlock machine gun. All, you know, so anytime a politician, we can stop sharing that now. I just wanted to prove the point that any politician that tells you that they had no idea, bullshit. They had them before they even wrote the damn Second Amendment, multi-shot weapons, and they were steadily working on them, steadily trying to improve them, to make them faster, to shoot quicker. You got to understand that they knew back then that guns were going to continue to evolve.
Yeah. And they will continue to evolve from this point forward. And I'm not saying we need the exact same thing the military is using right now, but we need something adequate enough, because the military can become an extension of tyranny. You know, law enforcement. I got nothing against law enforcement, but they can become an extension of tyranny, and they're often used by tyrants. So you need something adequate. You can't hold the ground now with a black powder rifle, you know, a musket or something, when your military is using such advanced hardware. You just can't do it. You know, you have to have something adequate enough to defend yourself. And you don't, folks, the lesson for today is you don't need permission from the government.
Nope.
This has already been decided. You have the right to defend yourself.
Absolutely.
And you don't have to hide it. You don't have to run from it. You don't have to make excuses when they show up. You've done nothing wrong.
Well, and so that's the whole thing, man, is that, you know, like Big T said a minute ago, it's not about hunting. It never was. It was never meant. When the Second Amendment was wrote, they just got through kicking the tyrannical government out of this country. So it was never about hunting. There is nothing in the Second Amendment about hunting, period. The minute that someone tells me, well, that was about hunting. No, it wasn't. You just lost. Anything else that you say, I'm not going to hear.
Yeah, because they're just parroting off stuff they've seen on TV at that point.
Because
you know
that lets me know you have no idea about the Second Amendment. So therefore, anything you say is null and void to me. It's like you might as well just be quiet. The people are obligated to have the exact armaments as the government. They are exactly, and that's the absolute truth, Hutch. Absolute truth.
We've Mockingjay saying the Constitution is my right to carry. Second Amendment, and honestly, I don't mean just we, but I mean America in general. We've allowed them to get away with too much already. We should not have to fill out a form and pay a fee or a tax
Right.
to conceal carry. That's ridiculous. We should not have cities that will not allow us to conceal carry within city limits. That's illegal. and it's going to continue to happen. And it's going to continue to get worse until people stand up and say, no,
Well,
that's actually illegal.
well, let me just put it like this. They tell you because Mayhem mentioned it, and they try to demonize these AR-15s. Well, that's an AR-15 bullet. Okay, that's my deer hunting rifle.
Yeah. It's
uh,
it's the look of the AR-15.
you know,
It's scary to these people, I think.
there's a 308. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I'm not trying to say that the AR-15 ain't powerful and can't do damage, because anything, hell, you get shot with a 22. It's there's probably been as many people killed with a 22 as anybody. As any gun I've seen. Back when I was in high school, one of my friends was getting into the closet of his parents, and his dad had a loaded weapon in there, and apparently it wasn't on safety. And he pulled something, and there was a coat hanger that had fell. Somehow, I don't know. Anyway, it shot him right in the face, man. Killed him graveyard dead, man. 22. So I mean, it's they're going to use every tactic that they can to convince you that you shouldn't carry a gun, and anybody that does that ought to scare the shit out of you. You know what I'm
Because
saying?
there's a reason for it.
Because there's a
There's a
reason.
reason they're trying to get rid of it. And it's not because guns have all of a sudden got more violent. I'm sitting here, man, I'm old. I'm sitting here thinking about how old I am because I can remember going to high school and the juniors and seniors would drive to school and some of them had guns on the rack in their trucks.
I used to carry a
And they
gun in
just
mine.
lock the doors and go in.
I used to carry a gun in mine. Dude, we had
Yeah.
we had a shooting range behind our school, and during lunch, we had a teacher that would come out there with us, and we could shoot guns at lunch. We freaking went out there and shot guns at lunch, man. There wasn't nobody
And
shooting each other.
guns were just as dangerous back then as they are now. So that hasn't changed, right? What has changed? People's mental states, maybe.
Yeah.
Mental illness.
Oh, we could
The
go into a
fact that
whole big
we can
subject on
do it,
that one.
man. We
We can
we
do
can do
that
it
too.
today. We can do it next week. Whatever you want to do, man. But
Well,
I'm just saying they aren't the problem. The tool is not the problem,
right.
right? They've always been deadly.
Like like I
Um,
said,
it's
a
something else,
car
man. It's societal.
has never grabbed a case of beer and drank it and then went out and killed someone drinking and driving. A car has never done that.
It's a very good point. Society has changed, yeah, Okie Khan, and not for the better. Progressives like to call themselves progressives, but I don't see much progress. Seems like we're going backwards.
Oh, we're
If
going
you
way
want to be
back.
honest.
Listen, guys.
Wait a minute. Backwoods, Hutch said you were a progressive, though. You're not a progressive?
No, no.
Oh, okay.
Hutch is called a troll today.
I thought you only voted for people that wore pantsuits, that sort of thing. No?
The clothing matters not to me of what type of clothing they're wearing. I mean, I would take somebody that come in there with with a pair of camo pants and a camo shirt and had an old hat and was spit old Charlie.
Hillary's not ever going to wear that, though.
Spit an old Charlie tobacco and be like, "Hey guys, we ain't putting up with this shit no more, man. We're about to shut this stuff down." You know what I'm saying?
I'd vote for that person.
You got my vote, brother.
Jay Hoare, thank you very much. I think the problem is people are on too many psychiatric medications. We're over medicated as a nation, big time.
Well,
And
it's not just the medication because that is a big part of it. I mean, if you go and look, I'd be, there for a while. There were several of these, mass shootings as they call them and stuff. And I saw some research papers from some credible people that they, all these people.
you got purple hair under that hat you're wearing.
I got hardly any hair, man. I'm getting old.
Hey, I ain't laughing at that.
That's what happens when you get
I'm not
old.
laughing, man.
But I'm wearing this hat because it just now it just turned from 36 to 37 degrees. It was 25 when we first come out here. It's cold in here. I've got this heater going
So
down here.
how about this as we wrap it up here, Backwoods? I'm going to throw it to the chat because we listen to the freaking chat on this podcast, okay? I'm going to throw it down. Chat, would y'all rather next week, would you rather us cover the societal changes that have led to an increase in boomstick violence, or would you rather us cover um, the paper trail? How you can't buy anything with cash, off grid and stuff like this, and all the tracking and stuff like that. Y'all let us know what you'd like to see, and we'll throw some notes and stuff together, and I'll leave the beaver mask in the closet this time. Paper trail. A lot of people are saying paper trail. Cover the track and the paper trail. So we'll do the paper trail
Okay.
next week.
Yeah, that's cool.
So let's take a few minutes before we close it down, if you don't mind, brother. And let's just talk about the societal changes, stuff that has changed that would show that guns aren't the issue.
Well, I mean, it's God dang, there's so much, man. Because I mean, you can go all the way back to the food, the stuff that you that's put into our foods, man. You do realize that you go outside of this country, and there's hardly any country out there that has the things that we have that we have in our food. All these high fructose crap.
Such a good point, man. That is a good point,
dude. I mean that see, there's a correlation between your mental health and your body. If you are healthy, or if you are eating really good food, and you're watching what you eat, and watching your diet and stuff, it has a mental effect one way or another. You know what I'm saying? It really does. And I think that between that and the drugs, man, I mean, if you think about it, dude, they give you drugs for freaking everything, man. And there's a lot.
And then drugs to deal with the after effects of the drugs they already put you on.
Oh yeah, man. Dude, the things I think what to me, one of the most main things is the stuff that they put into the food. It changes you. It does things to you, man. Everything affects you that you put into your body, and it can affect you mentally, when
I agree with what you're saying, but I'm team this Pot B, right?
Oh yeah,
Pot
B. Yeah.
Pot B. I'm team Pot B on this one. I think that our morals are in the dumpster.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All of the I like a good action movie. Hey man, I just got done watching yesterday, what is it, Zombieland, so we can review it on Patreon and stuff tomorrow. I like that kind of stuff. But our kids are exposed to too much of it now. There's too much of it in video games, and kids have too much access. It's too easy to access stuff that's going to shape them mentally. And a lot of them, I think, have issues once they get a certain age, and then they have access to guns when they should be locked up and stuff like this. And it's just a mess. Total mess.
Yep. I agree. It's, and what's really funny about it, if you go and do a little research on a whole lot of these mass shooters, the FBI already knew about them. This last one, this transgender mass shooter, they had been.
They were like on a watch list or something.
Yeah, some people had already contacted the FBI about these people, and they just don't do anything about it.
Too busy harassing other
Too
people.
busy worrying about parents saying that we don't like what you're teaching our children at school. They're too busy harassing them people.
Yep.
People like that. Going after J6ers, because now they're going after J6ers who were just there. I mean,
and that's got to be a line in the sand. I mean, it's a totally different topic, but that's got to be a line in the sand. So if J6ers went in and, like the guy, I don't remember his name, he goes into Pelosi's office, he kicks his feet up on the desk. It's funny to me, but it's illegal. And dude knew that he was going to get in trouble for that. But standing outside protesting, not setting stuff on fire, just protesting legally. No, man. If they're
dude,
getting to the point where they're witch hunting those people, we need to see an insurrection.
oh, dude, they're let's take it one step further. They're going after the people that came there just to hear Trump speak, and then they left. They're going after them people too. They wasn't even at the Capitol, but they were in the area. If you went to listen to Trump speak, they are going after them.
That's ridiculous, and that's what
That
leads me to believe that we're going to see a civil war.
that
Because that
is
can't fly, man. That can't fly.
that is tyranny at its finest. That is the definition of tyrannical. Just because you went and listened to someone speak, a political opponent.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting year, Backwoods.
Oh, dude,
It's going to be an interesting year.
Yeah, like I said earlier in the deal, don't forget, man, that they all these pedos and stuff, all this corruption, these pedophilia, then all right, I'll stop. But they like for real, man, they're not going to give up easy. They know what's in store for them. And dude, I'm telling you, it's going to be a really, really, really bad year. But the cool thing about it is you get to don't panic, never panic, never panic. When you grab knowledge, when you start figuring out, you got a little food backup, you've got guns to protect you and your family and your preps, because that is going to be very important. But when you have these things, man, and that knowledge, man, it's knowledge. I have a saying that I do at a lot of the end of my videos, and I say, when you prepare your mind properly, things will fall into place. And that's from anything in your daily life. There's a reason why people do schedules, and people do, because you're preparing for things. Just like this podcast here and the last one, I spent the last couple of days looking over things, and preparing for this podcast so that I could try to at least have some answers and bring stuff forward. Prepare your mind for what is coming, because if you are not prepared mentally for what is happening, for what you are seeing, for what is going to come, all your preps don't mean nothing. If you are not prepared mentally, you can't run down to the store now and get a gallon of milk. You can't run over there, man, I'm running late today, man, I'm just going to run through the old nasty ass McDonald's and get a cheeseburger and fries. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to do that stuff anymore. So it's all about that knowledge. Yeah, bootstraps. I say that I've got another saying, and it says, life will kick the shit out of you. Reach down and pull your bootstraps up and kick the shit out of it right back. Have that mentality every day that you're awake. Have that mentality if you wake up from the middle of the night. You wake up in the middle of the night and you go, if life kicks the shit out of me today, I'm going to kick the shit out of it back, and then go right back to sleep. Have that mentality.
I like it. Next week, We're going to be talking about tracking. If y'all want to support the podcast in any way, shape, or form, those links are down below. Because let's face it, we've probably already been flagged 20 ways from Sunday on this here podcast, but we're not going to stop. Even if they were to remove it on YouTube or whatever, the links are down below. Hey, man, we're on iHeartRadio. We own all that stuff. What is the other one? Spotify, the other big one. So we'll be talking about tracking next week, folks. Appreciate everybody being here. Backwoods, thank you. Try and have a calm week, sir, if you don't
3%.
mind.